Hello and welcome to revision classes on television. Today, we will be having a session in English language. Our guide is Peter David, and our focus today is lexis and structure.
It is a revision lesson and we are going to look at WAEC past questions between 2015 to 2019, but we are going to start today with 2015 past questions on lexis and structure. Section 1 of lexis and structure has to do with antonyms. Antonyms are words in English language or any other language that are opposite in meaning. For example, if you have a word like this, good, the opposite of good is bad. You have also another one, rich. The opposite of rich is poor. You have other ones like beautiful. The opposite of beautiful is ugly, and so on and so forth. So students are advised in this case to look for words that are opposite in meaning in any given sentence or passage as the case may be. Now we want to look at one or two questions from the past question of 2015, section 1. In each of the following sentences, there is one underlined word and one gap. From the list of words lettered A to D, choose the one that is most nearly opposite in meaning to the underlying word and that will, at the same time, correctly fill the gap in the sentence. Question number 1. The officer was expecting to be dashed by his boss, but he was sent short. The underlying word is sent short. The underlying word in that sentence is sent short. Now we want to look at the options. Option A is questioned. B is praised. B is praised. We have C, decorated, and D is guided. From what we have seen here, the word that contrasts with censured is option D, which is decorated. As instead of him to be blamed, he was decorated. Now, question number 2. The honor that was conferred on the general has been dashed. The word underlined in the sentence is conferred. And we have to look for the word that is opposite in meaning to that word, conferred. A, withdrawn. B, confirmed. C, rejected. D, destroyed. When something is conferred on somebody, it is a kind of honor that is being done to that person. And in this case, withdrawn is the opposite, which is option A, and that is the correct answer to that very question. So in that case, it is withdrawn that will be the opposite of the word. Now we look at question number 3. The modest young man was rewarded while his Dutch brother was punished. The underlying word is modest. And of course, when somebody is modest, the person is reserved about giving people his qualities or what he knows. He doesn't want to talk or boast about his true nature. Now we have the following options. We have option A, intelligent. You have B, handsome. You have C, conceited. You have D, wicked. When option C is the correct answer, because when somebody is conceited, the person brags about what he or she can do. So that is what we have under antonyms in this section of the questions. We move to the next section, and the next section is section 2, which is based on grammatical accuracy. Grammatical accuracy is the obedience of grammatical rules. How are words used correctly in a particular question or sentence? Now, section 2. From the words letter A to D, choose the word that best completes each of the following sentence. The one that best completes, some of them may be there. Now, this is where we are going to see the obedience to the rules of grammar. Question number 11. After assuring the authority that he would not escape, the prisoner was released on dash. We have the following words as options. A. Suspension. B. Record. C. Parole. We have option D as probation. Parole in this sentence is actually a permission that is given to somebody to leave a prison after promising that they will be of good behavior. So, parole is the word that will fit in to this very sentence correctly. Now we go to the next one. The next one is question number 12. A judge is required to dash justice fairly. And we have the options like this. Option A is defer. Option B is dispense. Option C is define, while option D is dispel. A judge does not defer judgment unnecessarily. A judge does not define judgment. A judge does not dispel judgment. But what he does is to do what? To dispense justice fairly. And that is to say, option B is the correct answer to the question. We move to question 13. The disease was dashed by doctors as pneumonia. Now, option A is diagnosed, B, prescribed, C, construed, D, decided. When a disease is diagnosed, it means an examination, a medical examination has been carried out before a doctor will come up with his own result. And that is to say, option A, which is diagnosed, is the appropriate answer to that question. Now, if you talk of option B, prescribe, you can prescribe drugs for a patient. Construed is quite different. Decided is quite different. That is why diagnosed has to fit in there appropriately. We go to question number 14. The God granted and dash against the eviction of the tenant. Option A, adjournment. B, injunction. C, indictment. D, adjudication. Adjournment has to do with a meeting. Of course, a court cannot do that when it has to do with a tenant. You also have option B, which is an injunction. And of course, option B, which is injunction, is going to be the correct answer to that question, because this is an action that is taken to stop another action. Now, question number 15, we look at it this way. He was given a certificate of dash in English. You have the following options: A, efficacy. B, efficiency. C, proficiency. D, sufficiency. Option C, which is proficiency, is the appropriate answer. Why is it so? Proficiency is a kind of certificate given to somebody because of the standard of skill and ability he has acquired in his profession. Now we are going to section 3, and section 3 is based on idiomatic expressions stroke proverbs. An idiom is a group of words that is used in a special way or sense that is different from the meaning of the individual words if they were to be used separately. That is the meaning of an idiom. Yes. In another sense, you can say that an idiom is a figure of speech. Yes, because so many of them can play the same role. When we look at something like this, to lead, for example, to lead a woman to the altar, and the meaning of this idiom means to marry her. And look at it here. What has to marry a woman got to do with leading her to the altar? You look at the individual words, altar, lead. Understand? It doesn't have any correlation at all, but the idiomatic expression is telling us that it means to marry a woman. Now, another one is to kick a bucket. To kick a bucket. To kick a bucket means to die. What has to kick a bucket got to do with death? But that is the meaning of the idiom. So it is advised when answering this type of question, a good knowledge of idioms and proverbs will help a student to do very well in section 3 of lexis and structure. Now, listen to the instruction. After each of the following sentences, a list of possible interpretation is given. Choose the interpretation that you consider most appropriate for each sentence. Question number 21. On hearing the news, he flew off the handle. What you should take note there is he flew off the handle. This means that A, changed his decision. B, ran away. C, felt very disappointed. D, became very angry. To fly off the handle, as it is used here, means to become very angry. And so, option D is the appropriate answer, which is became very angry. Now, look at the question number 22. John's money was barely enough to keep the wolf from the door. This means that A, John had killed a wolf. B, the money was just sufficient. C, the situation was desperate. D, John spent money lavishly. Correct answer is option C, which is the situation was desperate, as we can see here. Question 23. He was given the boot by the chairman. This means that he was A, offered a pair of boots. B, promoted. C, sacked. D, sent to buy books. Option C, which is sacked, is the appropriate answer to that question, because to give the boots means to sack someone from his employment. Now, question number 24. Since he left home, he has been trying to find his feet. This means that he, A, has been suffering a lot. B, lost his pair of shoes. C, has forgotten about his relatives. D, has been trying to get used to his new situation. Option D, which is has been trying to get used to his new situation is the appropriate answer. Now we are going to move to the next section. Section 4 of our revision lesson today is based on synonyms. Synonyms simply refer to words that are nearly opposite in meaning. In English and other languages, a synonym is a word that is nearly the same in meaning. Please take note of this expression, nearly the same. There are no two words in English that mean exactly the same thing. That is why students have to be careful with that instruction. Words that are nearly the same in meaning. For instance, when you see, you use sight, it denotes sight. Then you can also look. You can also do what? Watch. You can also do what? Glance. You can also do what? Stare. You can also do what? Scrutinize. And so on and so forth. But do we look TV? We don't look TV. We watch what? TV. Yes. We scrutinize a material to get the substance of that material. That is scrutiny. And so on and so forth. Yes. The way you watch your TV, in watching your TV, what do you see on that TV? You do what? You see a movie. Yes. You don't see TV, but you watch TV in order to do what? To see a movie. That is the difference. In case you have options like this in exam, because some examiners that are very smart can daze you with some of these options. So it is left for the student to really know the word that will substitute another one as the one that is nearly the same in meaning. In the same vein, you have other words that mean taking away somebody's life. For example, if you have a word like kill, you also have other words like what? Murder. You also have other words like assassinate. There are so many in English. But if a school child was killed yesterday, does that mean you should use the word assassinate? No, because the boy is regarded as a simple or a common person in the society. But if a king, if an emir, if a bishop, if a politician, a chairman, and so on and so forth, you see, is killed, we will use this word assassinate because of his status in the society. So let us look at one of those questions that has to do with synonyms. From the words lettered A to D below each of the following sentences, choose the word or group of words that is nearest in meaning to the underlined word and as it is used in the passage. For instance, if you have a word like this, theater, you have a theater in the medical line. Yes, in the medical line where operations are being carried out and so on and so forth. You can also have theater in entertainment industry. So it is when this word, where this word is used in the passage, that will determine the meaning of this very word. We have so many of them. You have another word, a word like blunt. You can have a knife that has what? A blunt blade. You can also say somebody is blunt. And of course, this blunt means dull. This blunt can mean also foolish. But if the blade of your knife is what is not sharp, will you say it is foolish? No, because of what? The context of the use of the word. So we have to be very careful the way we use words, because language is situational. Now we go to question number 31. Modu is endowed with great potential. The word that is underlined in the sentence is endowed. Now, we are going to look for the options here. The options are A, enlightened, B, provided, C, gifted, D, inspired. From the options we have, the word that is nearly opposite to this is what? Gifted in this very question, and that is option C. Then question number 32. Collaboration is essential to the success of the team. The underlying word is essential. We have the options as A, desired, B, indispensable, C, effective, D, appropriate. Option B, which is indispensable, is the appropriate answer. Now we move quickly to the last section in today's lesson, which is section 5. Question 5 is based on part of speech. Question number 41. That utterance is quite unlike you. Please come dash it. A, through, B, of, C, of, D, against. Option C, which is of, is the correct answer. And that question is taken from phrasal verb. What is a phrasal verb? A phrasal verb is the combination of preposition and an adverb to make quite a different meaning, which is idiomatic in nature. For example, run off, which is to end, run up, which is to arrest or catch, as the case may be.
That's the much we can take today on the program. Join us next time for another educating session.